coverage from Indianapolis. If you're not in Indianapolis tonight, the best place to watch the game is in Northwest Ohio, is out here in Maumee at Dale's Bar and Grill. We've got Jon Monk out there tonight. We will check in with Jon in about 9 minutes. Meanwhile, we look ahead to tonight's huge game. Let's look back at last week's Ohio State victory against Michigan. It was the Buckeyes' 8th straight victory over the Wolverines. It was also the 17th win in 19 tries against their rivals from Ann Arbor. They did it like they've done to pretty much everyone all year long. They can beat you in the passing game with Justin Fields, and they can really just suck the life out of you with J.K. Dobbins in that running game. Dobbins running for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. And this game also means Ryan Day 1-0 in that rivalry game.
This is all a blur right now. I mean, to say that there's not stress coming into a game like this, would be a lie. I mean, there's so much riding on a game like this, and you understand and you feel the weight of everybody involved with it. And to win like this right now, it's a relief. It is. And I'm just so happy for these guys, the guys on the team who have put so much into it. There's great chemistry, there's great leadership, there's great maturity. And to see him celebrating in the locker room like that after that means the world to us as a coaching staff.
It was a big week for Ryan Day. Not only did his team finish off a perfect 12-0 season in his first year as head coach, he was named the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Now, that's something Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel never did in their tenure. Day has been incredible in year one. Nothing really seems to faze the guy. The last Ohio State coach to be named Big Ten Coach of the Year was Earl Bruce. That was way back in 1979. A bit crazy when you think about it. But any way you put it, Day has been remarkable in year one. He's really exceeded all the expectations anyone could have put on him. The awards continued to roll in when quarterback Justin Fields was named Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. He was also named the conference's Quarterback of the Year. It's his first season in Columbus. He's picked up everything quite quickly. The transfer from Georgia is 4th in the country in passing efficiency. He threw for over 2,600 yards. He has 37 touchdown passes. And meanwhile, Fields has just thrown 1 interception this season. He's also rushed for almost 500 yards, 10 touchdowns on the ground as well. He epitomizes a dual-threat quarterback. Now, there were plenty who didn't think he could be this good, this fast, and yet he keeps on grinding.
There's always going to be people that doubt you, so, I mean, you just have to get used to it and just don't worry about the outside people, just play your game. So I'm not really worried about what the outside people really have to say. I just go out there and play the hardest I can. I still have room to grow, I still have room to improve, so I'm just going to focus on getting better each and every day.
So the Bucks have the Coach of the Year, the best offensive player, and they also have the best defensive player in the conference, potentially the best defensive player in the United States. Chase Young won Defensive Player of the Year award and also won the Chicago Tribune Silver Football Award as the best player in the Big Ten. Young leads the country in tackles for a loss and quarterback sacks. He'll also very likely be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. And the last time they played Wisconsin, Young had his coming out party. When the Big Ten Conference announced its season-ending awards earlier this week, it was a who's who of Buckeyes on both offense and defense. On the offensive side of the football, Fields and J.K. Dobbins, first-team selections, along with offensive lineman Jonah Jackson. They had 3 other offensive linemen on the second team, in Wyatt Davis, Brandon Bowen, and Thayer Munford. And they had 4 more guys on the league's third team, Master Teague, Chris Olave, Josh Myers, and Luke Farrell. That's 10 guys in total, making all-league teams just on the offensive side. The Buckeyes also well represented on the other side of the football. That unit has been quite dominant. Of course, Chase Young, but he was joined by linebacker Malik Harrison and DBs Jordan Fuller and Jeff Okudah. Damon Arnett made the second team, and they had a couple guys on the third team as well, Devon Hamilton and safety Sean Wade, who's back healthy and ready to go. The Buckeyes have really just rolled to this point in the year. They're unbeaten. They've really barely been challenged. After tonight, they're likely heading to the college football playoff. Christy Kopanis tells us how Ohio State got to this point.
It's not easy to go undefeated, but Ohio State has done a good job of making it look that way. Most of their games this year were blowouts. Only a couple were close. Here's a look at the Buckeyes season in review.
A new year, a new quarterback, and a new head coach. Ohio State embarked on this journey with a dominating performance over Florida Atlantic. And after shutting out Cincinnati, the Buckeyes only allowed 2 touchdowns in their next 3 games against Indiana, Miami of Ohio, and Nebraska. Their first test was Michigan State, and it was less of a test and more like a quiz. The Buckeyes beat Sparty 34-10. Then 2 weeks later, after racking up another win against Northwestern, Ohio State faced Wisconsin. And coming into that game, it was the hardest team that they had faced so far. But with a 38-7 win, they made it look easy. So, on to the next. Maryland, 73-13. Next, Rutgers, 56-21. Who was going to stop these guys? Could anybody do it? Enter Penn State. Ohio State took a 14-0 lead into halftime, but the Nittany Lions were on the prowl in the second half. They made a game of it. In the end, it was the Buckeyes with a 9-point victory, their closest game yet. And that was a good tune-up for the weekend ahead, Michigan. In a rivalry where anything could happen, history repeated itself for the 8th straight year. Ryan Day picked up his first win in the rivalry, 56-27, and their offense shined. An offense loaded with talent and a stingy defense hard to get through. Where are the holes in this team? Are there holes? Wisconsin will try to answer those questions when they get another crack at Ohio State Saturday night in the Big Ten Championship.
The Buckeyes have two guys in the Heisman Trophy conversation, Justin Fields and Chase Young, plus the college football playoff looms in the distance. Will Wisconsin spoil all of that? We're getting closer to an answer as kickoff draws near.
Closer indeed, Christy. Thank you so much. Let's head out to Indianapolis now. Dave Holmes from our sister station in Columbus has much more as we get closer and closer to kickoff from Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, hello there from Indianapolis, where the Buckeyes just capped off the most successful regular season in school history. A perfect 12-0, and it's not just about the record. All 12 of those wins were by double digits. So there might be at least some concern that maybe this Ohio State team has peaked too soon. But according to head coach Ryan Day, his team hasn't peaked yet, and that's almost hard to believe considering the Buckeyes are ranked in the top 5 in the nation in every single major offensive category and top 5 in the nation in every major defensive category. That said, Ryan Day wants to see a more complete effort in the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin.
I still don't think we've played our best football yet. I think in all 3 phases, we've yet to put together just a dominant performance in all 3 phases, and so that's another challenge that we've given the team this year. You know, what's the best version of this team? And so that's something we're working on this week.
One other note, defensive end Chase Young won the Silver Football Award on Friday. That goes to the top player in the Big Ten, regardless of position. You might remember Chase Young had his coming out party earlier this season against these Badgers. We'll see if he can do it again in the Big Ten championship game. At Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm Dave Holmes.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. And the biggest party may not even be in Indianapolis tonight. It's probably over at Dale's Bar and Grill in Maumee. A great turnout last Saturday for the Michigan game, and the same thing goes for tonight. That's where we find our Jon Monk. He is live at Dale's ahead of this showdown. And, John, what is the scene like out there right now?
Well, Tyler, with about 90 minutes till kickoff, it's still a little subsided. All eyes right now are on the SEC championship game, but Dale's is best known for being Buckeye headquarters. And as you can see, the bar is slowly filling up with scarlet and gray. People are eyeballing actually our show right now, along with the SEC championship game. But this is a great Buckeye atmosphere. I've actually never been here myself. There's a lot of Buckeye decor on the wall, and of course we're blessed with the sight of Woody Hayes above the main entrance. And I'm joined here with Melissa from Dale's. Melissa, thank you for having us.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
Well, what makes this place so special to watch a Buckeye game?
I don't know. We have this atmosphere, I guess, that we've created here. I've worked here since 2006, which was the year that Michigan and Ohio State both went undefeated until the game. And it's just, we play the Buckeye song every time we score, Hey Sloopy. We dance, we get on the microphone, we hype the crowd out. Typically, the whole restaurant is filled with red. Everyone's friends, you know. You just create, you know, it's the atmosphere you can't get unless you're at the game.
And obviously, last week it was a big deal against Michigan, but how big of a crowd are you expecting here within the next hour for the Big Ten championship game?
I think it'll be about the same as Michigan. It's just as big of a game, you know. Michigan game's a lot more fun, I think, because of the rivalry. But this game, I think by 7:30 will be packed.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having us. And they know how to treat their guests, because check this out. I asked for a pop, and they gave me a special little pop here. So we'll be out here for the rest of the night, for the next 30 minutes or so. So we'll have more from Dales, but for now, back to you, Tyler.
All right, John, thanks. We will check back in with you in just a few minutes. We are going to step aside for a quick break, but coming up, we are breaking down the Wisconsin Badgers, and we'll tell you what the Buckeyes need to keep an eye on tonight in Indy. Stick with us here on Fox 36. Welcome back in. We are just a little over an hour away from kickoff in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game between Ohio State and Wisconsin. And if it's anything like the first meeting between these two teams, it could be an absolute slaughter. The Buckeyes absolutely crushed the Badgers in Columbus back in late October. And that game was looked at as the real first test for Ohio State. The Bucs outgained the Badgers in that game 431 to 191. And from that point on, Wisconsin actually had to rally back to beat Minnesota last week to punch their ticket to Indy. Now they're hoping for some revenge against the Buckeyes, but they know they've got their hands full.
I've got a lot of respect for the job that they've done. And it's just because you've got talent doesn't mean it's going to happen. And I think what they've done, and you see it in each game, you know what I mean? I think what they do schematically, the adjustments you see them make, I think getting players to play at a high level. I have a lot of respect and think that they've done a heck of a job.
The Buckeyes have plenty of talented players, but something that might help even the playing field here, this will be the second time the Wisconsin Badgers have seen those players this year. For that, let's get back to Indianapolis and Dave Holmes with more.
Well, hey there, anticipation is building here at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Buckeyes home away from home, you could say. For the third straight year, Ohio State will try to win an outright Big Ten championship, this time against the Wisconsin Badgers. Now, I know a lot of people say it is hard to beat the same team twice in the same season. I get it. Now, let's be honest, it's not hard to beat Rutgers twice in the same season. So why is that? Well, it's because Wisconsin has a very solid, fundamentally sound team and a great head coach in Paul Chryst. And that's why it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. Good coaches adjust. Ryan Day knows that. We'll see how the Buckeyes counter those adjustments in the Big Ten championship game.
So it's all about being locked in, focusing on executing at a high level. At a game like this, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of hoopla when you come into the city, and they do a great job of that. But really, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to execution and who does their job on the field, and that's what the focus is on right now.
Now, I mentioned the Buckeyes going for 3 in a row. If they can beat the Badgers in this game, they will be the first team to ever win 3 straight outright Big Ten championships. We'll see if they can do it here at Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm Dave Holmes.
All right, Dave, thanks. The party, meanwhile, continuing out at Dale's Bar and Grill in Maumee tonight as we get closer to kickoff. Let's get back out to Jon Monk. Jon, fans must be filtering in, getting pretty excited at this point.
Yep, people are coming in, they're sitting down, they're getting their drinks, they're getting their prime seats to be able to see one of these big old TVs at Dale's to watch the game. I'm joined here with Matt. Matt, how often do you come down to Dale's to watch an Ohio State game?
I'm a regular, man. This is the best place in town to watch the Buckeyes, so if you want to watch it, come early and come get a seat.
How have you felt about this 12-0 season compared to other Buckeye teams in the past?
Feels good. I think Fields is on point. Dobbins is running the ball well. I think we got a good defense, so I think we got a good opportunity to make it to the championship.
And it has to feel good knowing Ohio State's replaying Wisconsin and the way they handled them earlier in the season. Have to be confident going into this game.
I'm a little nervous. Wisconsin's tough, so they beat up the trenches, so I think it's going to be a tough game. So.
Right. And Emily here, she's a Columbus transplant. Emily, are you a lifelong Ohio State fan?
Yes, I am.
What have been your highlights of this season so far?
When we win the national championship.
When we win. How do you think about how the team has fared, with the transfer of Justin Fields coming in? Beginning of the season, I didn't know if he was going to be any good, but he's been great.
He's done really well.
That and J.K. Dobbins, man, those two are awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're gonna have one more hit here from Dale's. We'll be here up until 7 o'clock. Back to you, Tyler.
Jon, thanks so much. Well, when we come back, we've got some high school highlights for you. Clyde vying for a state title. Could the Flyers get it done? The answer and the can't-miss plays right after this. Welcome back in. The Clyde Flyers are coming off a win over a defending state champion in the semifinals. Now they get their chance to claim a state title of their own. The Flyers coming into Canton looking for their first state title since 1995, taking on Licking Valley. Head to the first quarter, no score. Handoff here to Gunnar Golden, slices it right up the middle. He stretches for the goal line, but he's stopped at the 1. But the very next play, they punch it in. Ryan Lozier with the keeper. That makes it 7-0 Flyers. Later, all knotted up at 7, but Clyde changes that. It's Gunnar Golden again. This time he scores, extends his body. It's 14-7 Flyers. They would go into the half up a touchdown, and in the second half, the Flyers defense comes up huge. Shavon Bolger steps in front of a pass here. Now a handoff to Gunnar Golden again, right up the middle and in. That's his third of the night. It's 28-7. And then, for good measure, guess who? Golden again, another 6. He had 4 touchdowns on the day. Clyde dominates 42-14, and the Flyers are your Division IV state champions.
It's unbelievable. Second time in school history. It's crazy. It hasn't even sunk in yet, but it is unbelievable.
I don't have words to describe it right now, to be honest with you. It's one of those things that is very tough to put into words, but this group of people from Clyde and Green Springs deserve this. These kids deserve this, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
We are coming up on 1 hour to kick off out in Indianapolis. But meanwhile, the party for Ohio State fans continues out at Dale's Bar and Grill. Jon Monk out there, too. Let's check in with him. John, how's it going out there?
Yeah, the Buckeye headquarters here in downtown Maumee is slowly filling up. As you can see, their dining area is filling up fast, and people are slowly filtering in more and more into their bar area here. But there's still plenty of room here to grab a seat if you want to come down and catch the game, and obviously plenty of standing room. Now, I'm a news journalist, and I'm supposed to be unbiased, right? But this isn't news. This is sports. So I'm all in tonight. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to watch my Ohio State Buckeyes take their 3rd straight Big Ten title. And how's this for being unbiased? OH! OH! All right, go Buckeyes. Here we go. Back to you, Tyler. Thank you.
That's awesome, John. Thanks. When we come back, the soundtrack to the Big Ten championship game made possible in part by some local kids. Stick with us. We'll introduce you to them right after this. Welcome back. One of the best parts of these games is just how loud the stadium can get when it's packed full of fans from both schools. Emma Henderson introduces us to 4 local Ohio State students who spend their time getting you and I pumped up for games as members of the Ohio State Cheer Squad.
From Maumee, Holland, Perrysburg, and Findlay, let's meet the Ohio State cheerleaders hailing from Northwest Ohio. First, we have Ashley Thomason. She's from Perrysburg, started cheerleading in the 8th grade, and is currently majoring in chemistry. She says it's taken some explaining to her Columbus friends about why the rivalry is so fierce.
It's strange, especially for my friends that are from Columbus, to hear that we had Ohio State-Michigan days at school. They're like, how in the world do you even have Michigan fans? But, I mean, we are 20 minutes away from the border in Toledo.
Next is Emily Gramza. From Maumee, she's a current health sciences major, hoping to continue her academic career at Ohio State's dentistry school. She's always wanted to cheer for this school.
It's been a huge dream of mine. My family was so excited when I made the team. Even my family that were those that were Michigan fans were really excited for me, and they've actually been coming to games.
Katie Kreinbrink is proud to represent Findlay. She was a gymnast before cheering. She's an exercise science major, excited to see the atmosphere inside the big house.
A lot of people talk about what it's like just with all of the history and the tradition going back with the rivalry, so I'm excited to just experience that and see what it's all about.
Garrett Rainey is from Holland. He didn't start cheering until college, starting at UT but transferring to Ohio State, where this is his first football season.
Just walking out to like 105, 109,000 in the stadium, and it's just electric and it's super loud. It's the loudest atmosphere I've ever been in for a sporting event, and it's really fun.
And those are your Northwest Ohio cheerleaders.
All right, Emma, thanks so much. So, as we get closer to kickoff, Buckeye fans in Maumee, in Columbus, and really all over, hoping to sail into the college football playoff on a high note. Fox picks up the pregame coverage from here as we sign off for now. Enjoy the game. We'll see you back here on Fox 36 right after. Thanks for watching. Good night.